make some really inappropriate jokes. Hello, everybody.
Oh, hi.
My name is Darren.
I'm Graham.
And I have seen, but you have not, seen the film Flight, starring Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington?
Denzel Washington? No, Denzel. Denzel.
Denzel.
That's
Is that how he
name.
says it?
Denzel.
It's Denzel.
It's Den.
D-E-N-Z-L-E.
Denzel.
Denzel.
Anyway, have you seen anything
I haven't
to do
seen
with
Flight.
it? No? Well, I will tell
I
you
think
what
I
it's
saw
about.
a trailer. No, I've seen posters.
Maybe
I've seen
you
film
have.
posters.
In general, or specifically to do with Flight?
Both.
Okay. The film is about a captain or pilot of a plane who has a problem in that he likes the drugs and the drink and the women, and then
It's only a problem if you're
flying a
kind of
plane, which he is. So the plane crashes that he's piloting, but it survives without killing everyone. You know, it doesn't blow up because of his brilliant piloting. But obviously, because of the injuries and the investigation, they discovered that he was coked off his tits. And so the first bit of the film is plane crash. The second bit of the film is naughty pilot.
Oh, naughty pilot.
Naughty pilot.
Naughty.
So yes, is there anything about this film that? Why haven't you seen it? Is there something that didn't appeal to you about it, or do you want to see it but you've just not gotten round to it?
After reading your blog.
No, I wrote a blog on it.
You did. I'd probably like to see it. It does sound interesting. Sounds intense.
Yes, the first half, or the first chunk is... Oh, he just blew a burp. The crash is genuinely, amazing / terrifying. And I was thinking...
Special effects and all that.
Well, it's mostly from the cockpit you see it. There's a few, bits where there's some people falling out of chairs and stuff. But it's more about him and what he does to stop the plane just nose-diving into the earth.
Yeah.
So that's really intense. And I was thinking of good plane crash scenes, in movies. And I thought the one in Fight Club is really good.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Go on, what's your one?
Just the one that sticks out in my mind, and one that I've always wanted to experience in real life. And it sounds awful, especially in light of, German wings and all these Malaysian...
Nobody will remember that. That's only relevant to this week.
You should... That's such an insensitive thing.
Oh, bad things happen all the time and we forget.
Absolutely.
There was a guy in America who
them...
made a tank out of cement and went on a killing rampage.
We've all forgotten about
How famous is that? That's not as famous as it should be.
I agree.
Yeah?
I do agree.
So, it's really bad that a pilot in real life, this is a true story now.
50 people died.
Yeah, a German guy went mad and piloted his plane into the earth. And it's really bad, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody will remember that in a couple of years.
What was my point?
I don't know, but I'm regretting saying all this. Can feel people getting angry.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so...
It was something you wanted to experience.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, look what happened again. Hello. So what I saw in a film once and what I'd really love to experience, even though it's really insensitive or whatever. Final Destination, where he's in the airport and he looks out the window and he's panicking and stuff like that, and then just sees this plane just explode.
Why would you want to see that?
But do you remember it in the film?
No.
Well, it's just...
I'm not denying it happened.
It's done really well in the film as well, because...
That's the only thing that's ever been said has been done well in a Final Destination movie.
It's just nobody is, because you see the shockwave, or maybe I'm remembering it better, but you see the shockwave around it, goes bang, you see the explosion,
it goes bang,
and then you wait for a second, and then you hear the sound and stuff like that. It's just quite realistically done.
Why would you want to see that though?
I don't know. It's morbid curiosity.
You do know that people would die,
unless it's just like a.
I reckon if a plane explodes in an airport, somebody's going to die. Even if it's an empty plane.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is you want to see people die?
No, not at all. And I don't want to get investigated for this or anything like that.
I don't think the police have that much time on their hands.
But I just think, as far as experiences in life go...
That's on your bucket list?
No.
To see a plane explode?
No, I don't want to see it. It's just I'm saying if I can't avoid looking at one, then I won't be regretful of the opportunity.
Oh, well, I'll stand up in court, don't you worry. So I think that Fight Club has a really good plane crash in, and The Grey has a really good plane crash in.
The Grey, that was terrifying, that one.
Yeah, and then I got to 1993, and I thought I'm going to stop this list now because there's no more room for jokes. But the one in Flight is really good. So that's really good. And then the second part, it's just I don't know, it got a bit gaudy. There's a weird God thing running through it.
I read about this.
In my blog.
In your blog?
Yeah, well, when they're about to crash, they hit a church. That's my first sign that things are going to get a bit goddish. Because clearly this guy's going to turn his life around, or maybe he's not, but he's hit a church, he probably is.
Yeah, church saved his fall.
Yeah, and then there's a bit where he sees the crash and he's like, what kind of god would let this happen? You think, oh, God's just been mentioned again.
Good question.
And then, yeah, but he kind of concludes that, well, it seems like the point of the film is that it does have a God thing running through it, and that God made the crash happen so that Denzel Washington would turn his life around. But 6 people died in that crash. Why is his one life better than their 6? Why would God kill 6 people to teach one man a lesson?
It's not that his life is worth more or whatever, it's just that's what they were intended for. They've fulfilled their purpose in life.
Well, why is his life worth them dying?
That's not it is.
You're saying they were only born
comparing values.
for him to die?
No, yeah, exactly.
They were born to die so that he could live?
Yeah.
Well, why is he better than them?
No, it's not about being better or values or what's worth what.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. That's not the way God thinks.
Well, how does God think? How did God justify those 6 deaths for the one Denzel Washington?
It's not about that. He's just saying when those 6 people died,
yeah,
that was them fulfilling their lives.
Yeah, but if God exists, then he decided that was there.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
So why did he decide that those 6 people should die so that Denzel Washington could live? It wasn't like Denzel Washington accidentally became a junkie. He wasn't like, oh, I'll eat this sherbet through my nose, and suddenly in 6 months he's like, oh, bollocks, it was cocaine.
Sherbet's a gateway drug.
Why does that one man's voluntary descent into,
in the film,
result? Why does 6 people have to die for that?
In this film, do those people die accidentally because of the crash?
Yeah, well, they died because of the crash. Accident. But God made
you
the accident.
said they had to die for him to live. That's not the case. It was an accident.
No, but that seems to be the message that people take away from it.
Yeah, if God's no.
Well, people don't mention the dead people. They just mention that God made the plane crash so that Denzel Washington could have a new lease of life or whatever. Mm. They forget to mention the 6 people that died. I mentioned the 6 people that died and said, well, why do they die? Why are they not as valuable as him?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I thought you might. So, yes.
God works in mysterious ways, Darren.
Well, he does, doesn't he, in the way that he lets all those paedophiles get away with it.
It's very similar to just random behaviour, isn't it?
It's almost as though he's not there at all.
Yeah.
But in this film, it feels like that they're trying to get across to me that he does exist.
Yeah.
And that it's a good thing that he brought that plane down. And as somebody who doesn't necessarily believe in bullshit, I felt a bit preached at and I didn't like it.
Oh, right. Well,
which is interesting because Contact is directed by Robert Zemeckis. Mm-hmm. That's not a random point, Graham. Flight is also directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Oh,
and
I'm glad these all link. All these
Contact has this whole kind of science versus religion thing running through it. And I think it's done quite well, quite sort of agnostically. It's looked at objectively that it might exist, it might not exist, but it probably doesn't. And Jodie Foster's, an agnostic. Matthew McConaughey's a full-on Bible basher. And you kind of, or at least I side with her. Maybe that's because I have similar thoughts to her. But it seems fairly balanced. But then you've got Flight, which is just full-on God bothery. And I just didn't know why. Well, I do know why, obviously, because Denzel Washington's a Bible basher in real life, and Zemeckis apparently is retreating back to his childhood upbringing. I suppose it's because he's getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be dead in 20 years, or I might be in heaven. Let's take a pick.
The dying thoughts of an atheist, as you say.
Yeah. So the beginning was good.
I watched Contact when I was 14, and I don't remember any.
You watched it 30 years ago, wasn't it out then?
Shan't swear.
Okay.
I won't swear at you. Yeah, I don't remember any religious subtext.
Well, Matthew McConaughey's she doesn't get to go to space because she's not religious. That was a whole thing in it. And some religious people blow up the first attempt. And
is that true? I don't remember any of that at all from when I was...
Like I say, it's been 30 years since you watched it, and dementia's setting in your old age.
Still, Alice, don't,
Yes, I think you are at heart. So that's the downside.
Yeah.
Is that the end isn't as good as the beginning, and it is a bit in your face with what it wants you to believe.
Sounds interesting. I'm intrigued already.
Well, I wouldn't tell people not to watch it because I did enjoy it. Because it's made by a good filmmaker, and even if he is preaching, then he made at least 2 good Back to the Futures and Contact. And some people hate, some people love Forrest Gump, but anyway.
It's like a box of chocolates. You either love it or you hate it.
No, you tend to buy what you like and then eat them and enjoy them, and you know exactly what's in that box because you've bought them. I don't buy miniature heroes or celebrations not knowing what's in there. Oh, it's a chocolate. Anyway, so he's obviously competent at the very least.
He's a good pilot, isn't he? I mean, if you can...
Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, right.
And Denzel Washington is a brilliant actor. I love Denzel Washington. I can watch him in almost anything. Almost. I'm sure I could come up with some fanciful ideas of things that I wouldn't want to watch him in.
What film would he be the worst casting in?
What film would he be the worst casting in? I don't know. Is the head of some Ku Klux Klan member in a Ku Klux
Django.
Klan propaganda film?
Well, one of the guys in Django Unchained in the KKK was a black guy. You could tell by his
Was
voice.
he?
Yeah.
Well, Tarantino's film is accurate to life, I'm sure. So yes, Denzel Washington's really good, and that's about it, really. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I suppose the other thing is that any character that isn't Denzel Washington, including the
get
6
screen
that died, aren't really as well developed as him. He hooks up with some junkie girl who plays Jude Law's wife in Sherlock Holmes, and she's really good as an actress and an actress playing that part. But it just goes nowhere, just sort of fizzles out.
All right.
And John Goodman plays a character who provides things for Denzel Washington. But I don't know why. I mean, he's not famous in it. Why do pilots have like groupies? I can understand famous people having a guy that supplies them with drugs and.
I imagine he needs a dealer.
Yeah, he needs a dealer, but he doesn't just bring him drugs. He brings him everything that he might need. So if Denzel Washington needs
a PA,
sort of, but not, like just an enabler, I guess.
Right.
But,
what else does he bring him? Hang on, I'm confused.
Porn.
Oh.
And stuff, money from his house and things, I think.
Sounds like a PA.
Yeah, but it's not. And every time John Goodman appears on screen, the Rolling Stones play on the soundtrack. Oh, that's the other thing about the film. The musical choices are a bit on the nose.
Right.
Because John Goodman is somehow involved in drugs like anyone in a Scorsese film. So we have to have Scorsese soundtrack when John Goodman turns up. And then, as I mentioned in the blog and to you, there was a bit where Denzel Washington's cleaned up by his friends, and then they're in the lift, and the Beatles with A Little Help from My Friends play on the soundtrack.
It's like a musical.
Well, it is, but if it was, unintentionally a musical and a
Yeah,
bit cringy, when you're like, that again.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a pain. But overall, it is a good experience that I would repeat, having already seen it once. I would recommend anybody does for a first time if they haven't already.
Excellent. How many stars out of 5 if we ever to do that?
3 if we were to ever do that.
3?
Yeah.
And it's still a recommendation.
Well, 3 is a recommendation.
You do have a large film collection, I suppose.
Thank
You would
you.
go for films that are... yeah, awesome. Cool. Okay. Well, I probably won't watch it for a while, but I'm certainly intrigued enough to go and watch it if it was available.
Well, it is. You can borrow it off me.
That's all right.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Say bye.
Bye.
Still going.